Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special but short episode of Nintendo Nostalgia. I am your host, Josh. I am all alone today. No Chris, Jacob, or Ryan, just me. I'm just dropping in for a little bit here. It has been a really busy season for us all. I know there's 4 of us, but somehow we all end up having kind of our own things to do that keeps us all busy. It's a little difficult to get together sometimes to record like a full episode, especially right now with families and everything going on. Without going too far into all of that, though, we are planning a sort of Christmassy episode here very soon. Until then, though, I do have a special one here, mostly to focus on a new indie game called Lil Gator that is coming out on the Switch. I believe it's also on Steam. It is coming out I had the date in front of me and then I messed it up, the 14th. So by the time this goes out, it should be up. The embargo date for us to talk about it actually is the same day. So I've gotten to play it for about a week or so before the release date, thanks to Platonic Friends, as they call themselves there, for the code. The game itself is made by the team called Mega Wobble, so go check them out if you can. Now, we'll get a little more into that soon. If you all could edit out that last sentence I just said, give me just a moment. I will count down to straightening back up. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, I first saw Lil Gator sort of shown off on Twitter. I don't know. It's been quite a while now, it feels like, and I've been keeping up with it. Always been a fan of Platonic, that team in particular. I've sort of known for a good while through the old school Rare days and things like that. Of course, they're actually just Platonic Friends is just the publisher on this one. But even still, that along with the fact that it is a game about a little alligator sort of grabbed my attention. I guess I'm a sucker for like old looking platform mascots. So anyhow, I'm very glad to have been able to check this one out. It is, let's see, how do I even start to describe it? It's a very easygoing game. Actually, first of all, this isn't really going to be like what I would call a review, by the way. I just want to sort of inform everybody about it some. I've played all the way through it for the most part. I guess you could say I did 100% complete it before I decided to sit down and talk about it some. If I were to add any constructive criticism to it, there really isn't a whole lot there, and maybe I'll mention it as we go. But it's really good. I think it sets out to what it needs to do, and does it quite well. It's a very calm, sort of chill. I want to say a 3D platformer, but when I hear that said myself, I want to think of something like Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie, and this isn't really that. There's not any health meter or anything like that. You are really just running around as this little gator. Feels funny saying that. You can name him whatever you want, and you're looking to help out people. The premise of the story is, without going too far into it all, because it's kind of a big part of the game, is the little gator wants his big sister to go and play with him like they used to. And they talk about some of those memories they made and things like that. And he's wanting to go out on an adventure and build this big thing to impress her, so she'll join him. But with that, you go and sort of find a bunch of friends. Some of those might be like little, I don't know if I'd really even call them fetch quests, just little missions and things to do. Nothing's really all that difficult. It's just, again, nice and easygoing game. I think this is one that, as a grown adult, I really enjoyed it. I think younger kids will really enjoy it as well. I think the only thing that would hold them back would be the text. There is quite a bit of text and reading and such to it. I know not it just depends on the kid's reading level, really, because there is quite a bit to that side of it. And I think that makes part of the game. It's just a really nice little, easy to take in story. The dialogue between characters, I think, is done very well. I really enjoyed a lot of the little side characters, even if they were just sort of one-off kind of characters that pop up for a minute and you'd have to help them. I think they did a really good job with that. There's actually one in particular character that I feel like if they bring Lil Gator back could pop up again. I don't know if I really want to spoil anything, so I won't get too far into that. But let's see. I'm actually working on pulling up I got to chat a little bit with the developers there at Mega Wobble, and let me see if I can pull that up. We sort of got chatting and did some impromptu questions, and they were nice enough to get back to me pretty quickly on that. I'd love to maybe even have one of them on the show sometime, talk a little more about their inspirations and things like that. Because, again, there's not much I know to compare this to when it comes to, like, nostalgia. It looks sort of like an older game. It definitely has more of, like, an indie feel than maybe, like, looking like a straight N64 game, if that makes sense, if you can kind of tell the difference there. But let's pull that up here. I did ask if there was any sort of, in particular, Nintendo game that inspired them to set out to do this, for what they wanted to do. And their answers I actually found kind of interesting because I think it sort of fits this bill. They answered Breath of the Wild and Animal Crossing. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to... obviously, both of those are pretty good inspirations for this. No, it's a much smaller game than Breath of the Wild. But I don't think it needs to be Breath of the Wild. It's definitely comparable to Animal Crossing with the chill factor, I would say. You're really just focused on going around and beating up these little cardboard monsters. And, again, you can't get hurt, no fall damage or anything like that. But you can just explore the world as you want. And I'm sorry if this is a little bit all over the place right now, a little bit unscripted. Yeah, it's definitely comparable to both of those two in its own way. There's plenty of little Zelda references. If you know the series, you'll definitely catch on to a lot of them, especially early on in the story. So you can definitely tell that the creators are Zelda fans. So I asked them another little question here. If any of the characters were based off of like real life people or people on the team or anything like that, anything inspired. Basically, the answer they gave me was pretty funny here. This is all text-based, of course. There's a horse character named Martin in the game, and they told me this juicy secret that Martin is based off of a real horse. So yeah, whoever runs the social media account for the Lil Gator game, you're pretty cool. I don't know what I can do with that answer, but there you go. The horse is based off of a horse. Also, a couple of the team members' favorite Zelda games. Connor's is Minish Cap. That's an interesting one. I actually didn't play that one until later, despite being a big Zelda fan, but I like that. It's not one you hear a whole lot of. And Scott's is one of my top favorites, is Twilight Princess. And I know that one's a little more debated, I would say. And I still really like it. I actually always preferred it to Wind Waker in many ways. Getting a little off topic there. But again, that's just sort of to show how much of the Zelda series they have played. And while this isn't exactly that, you can definitely tell. It sort of feels like if a kid sat down or I don't know, even went outside and decided to pretend like they were Link or something. Like they're the legendary hero, and just ran around out on the playground or whatever with a stick as a sword and that sort of thing. Now... the one more question here, actually two more. I asked them the lifelong question on this show: Mario Kart 64 or Diddy Kong Racing? As you all know, I love them both. I will say Diddy Kong Racing is the superior one, but they said they don't think they've played either one, at least who I was speaking with. So no consensus. You know what? I'm not even going to try to say that word again. No good answer on that one. I'll also ask if there is a chance, since they were working with Platonic friends, for Lil Gator and Yuka and Lady to show up together. I could definitely see that happening. Lil Gator definitely seems like a character that could cameo somewhere, and I very much hope to see him pop up elsewhere. And I know this is an audio-based show. I kind of wish I could show you guys this if I get permission from them. I may on these socials. They said, yeah, here they are in Times Square. And they gave me a very lovely, totally not photoshopped edit of Yuka and Laylee and Lil Gator standing in Times Square. So I guess the answer to my question was yes. And yes, I do hope to see Lil Gator again. I think he would fit right in that ukulele world, perhaps, whenever they come out with a new game. I'd love to see a little appearance there. Now, outside of the questions, again, just a few things I feel like I sort of brushed over. Throughout this adventure, you will be collecting like different types of swords, which are all pretty similar. There's different shields you can use and all kinds of different items. I don't want to give away all of them because some of them are that's kind of part of the game, is just to explore and see what you come across and sort of use it as a playground in a lot of ways. The shields, you can, if you hit X, I believe it was, you don't really use them as shields because there's nothing to defend against, so you use them to slide. Again, maybe that was heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild, but you can use them to slide down hills, use them to hop across water, all kinds of cool little things. You can get a lot of speed. The game definitely feels like it wants you to play around with its mechanics, to climb up hills, to see how fast you can go by sledding off of the side of a mountain with your shield, whatever it may be. You even have a little glider. And I know there's probably a lot of things here that sounds like they totally just pulled things straight from Zelda, but even if they did, this is totally a different game. A lot more just chill. I think it's totally worth the price of entry for what it is. I think it pulls it off well. I just want to give you guys a little bit of what to expect going into it, though. Again, it's nothing super difficult. It's not a Dark Souls game or anything like that. It's a very chill little game just to go through, enjoy some of the dialogue between characters, get a couple of laughs out of that, and just play around with the physics. There's some just odd little things you can mess with in here, and some things kind of surprise me. So yeah, my kid actually also tried it too, Lily. She's 8 and she hasn't had as much time as I did to jump in, but this weekend. But she was really interested with the little bit she got to play. And I figure she's going to be picking up some more. I think that age range would really be almost best for it. And again, even if you're an adult like I am, if you can kind of pull that kid out at heart, so to speak, you can have a nice, relaxing time with this one. So yeah, I hope this does well, and I hope the team a very solid future, I guess is the best way to put it. I hope to see the character return in some way, and I hope this does well. I hope they set out to do what they wanted to do with it. And once again, I don't really have much negative to add to it. I know this isn't really an official review, so to speak, anyway. But I hope you guys listening will at least go check it out I know on Twitter. Let me actually pull up their little hashtag here. You can search for a Lil Gator game. That's the easiest way to find it. It is at a Lil Gator game. So go check that out. Go check out Platonic Friends, all of that for them. And again, guys, I just want to remind you that we will be back very soon with a little more holiday themey episode. Thank you, guys, and you have an awesome day. Bye.